Welcome back to My Big Fat Mess. I'm Anthony Ferraro, and today we're doing something a little bit funny. It's my first, superstar collaboration. Welcome to superstar extraordinaire comedian Joe Avati, who's also my cousin.
My cugino.
Cugino, how you going?
I'm good. I'm very excited today because tonight I'm going to cook for you a Moroccan beef tagine.
Ooh, look
you
at
can
that.
see the tagine's probably in the background there.
We're going to do something a little bit exciting. Every time I come to Melbourne, Joe takes me out, we go for a bit of a wander, we get some amazing produce, and we come back into this beautiful kitchen and we do some cooking. So tonight, we're going to let you guys in. Only difference is we're cooking for a couple of special people, some close friends to Joe's heart, and we're going to go out. So this is a bit of a couple of part series. We're going to go out and do some shopping, meet some amazing people, get some produce, come back and do some cooking. Joe's going to cook something, which he's let out in the bag. He's going to do a nice tagine, and I'm going to do something as well. I'm going to keep mine a little bit secret, a little bit gamey, a little bit out there. But we look forward to cooking in this amazing kitchen. I can't wait to make a big fat mess over there. Stop laughing. It's true. It gets messy. Anyway, we're going to go shopping. Let's get into it.
Okay, and so the port of call for today, we're going to have to start with a bello cafe and no cornetto. There's nothing more iconic, really, in Melbourne, in fact in Australia, than Brunetti's. Let's go in, let's have a cafe, and we'll meet the owner.
I can't wait, let's do it. All right. Oh, can we just talk about, wow. Wow, wow, wow. This really is
It's amazing.
Something to die for.
There's nothing like it in Australia.
I have not seen anything like, the last time I saw this, we were in Rome. Oh, yes! Joe, what's your favourite?
My favourite is the, without a doubt, the rum bubba.
Oh,
See how it's
yum.
got the little
Squeezy.
squeezy, you squeeze the rum bubba in there. The rum in the bubba.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, mate, that's a bit too strong for my liking.
Well, for this time of the morning. Well, here we are, the iconic Brunetti, and we're lucky enough to be here with one of the owners, Fabio Angeli. And I must say, mate, you're very trim for someone who works with this amount of cakes around.
There's a secret to that. Not a lot of people know. There's no calories in any of our cakes.
No calories.
No calories.
100% fat-free.
That's why.
Yeah,
No, I love it.
I believe you.
I mean, you've got some classic stuff here. So the horseshoe,
Yeah, correct.
bomba cioccolata,
Yep.
aragosta.
Yes, the sfogliatella.
Sfogliatella.
napoletana.
Yeah, wow. Mate,
So
this
the-
is quintessential. This is beautiful.
Yeah, so this is something we've had since day one, and it still exists as well as many other products. So we've kept it really traditional and classical.
So you were telling us a little bit about the history. So just give us a big background of how this all happened here.
So the first cake shop that when it started, Brunetti's, was in 1970, 71, 72. So it's been existing since then. And actually about 10 years ago, I'd say, more than 10 years ago, when they developed Lygon Court, Brunetti's moved into Faraday Street from this side, exactly where we are now. And 10 years ago, we moved back home where we first started. So
Wow.
that's how we find ourselves here again.
Now, do you come from a long line of pastry chefs? Are you a pastry chef yourself?
No,
Right.
a lot of the immigrants that came here, you probably know, my parents wanted us to study, so they put us at school.
Right.
He didn't want me to learn, or my brothers to learn the trade. He knew it's pretty hard. So no, I don't make the cakes, but we have a huge team of pastry cooks that make them.
Wow, look at you now. You didn't want you to get into the business, and now it's yours, mate.
Yeah, I know, fell into it, but we
That's
love
insane.
it. It's part of our life. We eat and breathe it every day.
What was the inspiration of making, building something like this? There is nothing like this in Australia, anywhere.
Absolutely.
And easily could be, but there's just, what is it that's special about what you do?
Look, I think it's evolved this way because of, the way the market has asked for it. And, we're very familiar with the bar pasticceria gelateria in Italy. We grew up and, with that sort of thing. And we just expanded it as we felt. So it wasn't actually planned, it's just evolved, and it's come into a monster now, to be honest.
This is insane. It's absolutely beautiful. It's easy for me to look around and go, I understand why Brunetti's is such an icon, because like Joe was saying, this doesn't exist in Australia at all.
No, I know. Just to give you a bit of background, my older brother actually designed this place. He was the architect.
Yeah, wow.
And he designed it on the cafetiera,
Yeah.
And if
Well,
you look,
that's what you
So
said.
that's the base of the mocha.
and the lights. So it was something that he thought, the mocha is so iconic in the Italian scene. Let's make it a bit of history here as well.
Yeah. What can you tell us about Brunetti that people don't know?
One simple thing is that we invented a baby chino here, for example. That's iconic now. It's just a little
That's
thing.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But just last week we went through about 300 kilos of coffee. So just to give you an idea, pre-COVID, how it's sort of bounced back, that's about 25,000 coffees, I'd say.
Wow.
So,
What are your biggest sellers?
the cannoli,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
traditional cannoli, you wonder, it's probably the simplest thing, maybe the most ugliest cake, because there's some really nice looking design sweets
That's actually
now.
funny. No one ever. That's the ugliest.
It
cake.
is.
The cannolo, ugly delicious.
Like the biscuits, the brutti buoni.
Yeah, yeah,
They
right,
call
yeah.
them brutti, but they're so nice.
Yeah, right. What's your favourite?
Yeah, what do you like eating? What keeps you so thin?
Look, the chambellas are my classical thing. I used to get them off the fryer when my dad used to make them with the sugar straight into your mouth, as you can't beat it.
Love it.
You get up at 2:30 in the morning, man? You're here at 2:30 in the morning?
That's probably something not a lot of people know, that we open the doors here at 4:35 a.m. every morning.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so, and the first
Wow.
customer,
Yeah.
the coffee's always free for the first person who walks in the door.
Really?
That's cool. So, if you want a free coffee in Melbourne, make sure you get down to Brunetti's every morning at 4:30 a.m.
4:30.
It's a tradition.
That's very,
That's great.
And
it's
another
very
thing
Italiano.
people don't know is we have a huge cycling following. You might have seen that.
Yeah, right.
cyclists.
Yes,
And
I
that-
have. The other day I did see someone sponsored by Brunetti's, and I
Yeah.
thought, oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
So we've got hundreds of cyclists out there. It's about 20 years ago it started, just as a simple joke. But most of these guys been very loyal, and whenever they have a shirt on and they come in the shop, they don't pay for their coffees. And it's
Wow.
a tradition. So it's the only shirt that we give in the world that would come free coffee for life.
I would take you up, but I don't think Lycra looks good on me.
Look, you'd be surprised some of the cyclists that come in.
Mate, I live in Canberra, so it's a bit of a cycle for me to get here for a free coffee. But I tell you what, that's amazing. Fabio, thank you so much. It's
Thank you.
like having your time has been really precious. And thank
pleasure.
you for sharing with our viewers a little bit about the history. It's been really, really an honour.
No, good.
Thank you kindly.
No, pleasure.
Thanks, mate.
So in true Italian style, a quick coffee has turned into an epic journey. Isn't that fantastic? Gotta love you, Joe. Legend. But a big thank you to Fabio and the entire team here at Brunetti's for letting us go behind the scenes. And it was really an honour to meet his father as well.
Anthony
Piacere?
and Amy.
And Amy.
Questa mia moglie Amy, 89 years old, still in the kitchen. So we've got our little gift bag, the amazing colomba for Easter, and that's courtesy of Brunetti's. So do yourselves a favour, if you do need a little pick-me-up, a tiramisu, a quick coffee, something for lunch, a croissant, something sweet, or you know what, if you just want to see some amazing history, get yourselves down here, Lygon Street in Carlton, come and see Fabio and his team and they will look after you. Let's move on to the next one.
So, we've got to get our spices for the tagine.
Yes.
And there's no better place to come in Melbourne. In fact, these people have expanded all over Australia now.
Yeah, wow.
And it's called Gewürzhaus. You wait till you see inside. It is heaven. If you love spices, there's nothing better than this. Let's go.
Let's go and see some spice of life. Wow, wow, wow. This smells like Christmas. It's like chai in the morning, mixed with some Moroccan spice, mixed with tea, absolutely. All I want to do is touch everything. I feel like a kid in a candy store.
So, Anthony, this is the lovely Sadie who manages the
Sadie.
store here.
You have an amazing store.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
from I'm a chef background, and to come in and just have all of these amazing spices ready at my disposal, I want to take a scoop of everything. I can't wait. Well, we're here now. This is the Middle Eastern section,
Yeah,
so we're
and
doing a
Indian
tagine
as
and
well.
Indian as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, these are some of my favourite spice mixes. I love the Middle Eastern section.
Yes.
The Moroccan soup spice is one of my favourites. I know the Ras El Hanout is very popular, and that one has more ingredients than any other spice mix. Am I allowed to talk about that?
Absolutely, we're going to get some of that for our tagine. Before we get into that, can you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about the history of how this store or this business started?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So the owners of the business are German-born sisters and their mother, and Eva and Maria are the sisters. They were born in Germany, but they grew up here, so they've been here since they were 2 and 3 years old. And their father comes from hospitality. So they're a family of foodies, and they spent a year in their kitchens developing all of the recipes for the spice blends, having seen a store in Germany that was sort of along these lines, but not exactly the same. It probably wasn't quite as finessed as this, it has to be said. And they've expanded on the idea because they love food, they love cooking, and bringing fresh spices.
Did they start like in a hole in the wall, or the first shop was all like this? Huh?
This is the first shop.
Oh, this is the first shop. Yeah, right.
We have 11 stores now, 5 of which are in Melbourne. We're in Sydney, we've got 3 stores in Sydney.
Yep.
We're in Adelaide in the Central Market. We're in Canberra. I think I've covered all bases. In Melbourne, we recently opened in Hillsville, so that's quite close to one of the owners' homes, so that was good for her. But yes, so this is the original fit out, and the Eva and Maria did it themselves. They just, these are from IKEA, and they just sort of did it all with a creative kind of eye and mindset.
No, I love what they've done, because they've literally brought together, I guess, 2 things that are really close to my heart. When you walk into a kitchen, everything has to have its place. From the classical French fine dining mise en place, everything has its place, and you can see that everything has its place. And they brought very good quality products with classic design, and they've made it look beautiful. So I think when you integrate all that, that's got to be probably their biggest recipe for success, and there is no wonder why they have so many stores. I mean, just looking here, from what I can see, there's like 18 different salts.
Now, this is one thing that I wanted to sort of cover, is that, some people, salt, just use salt. Well, no, salt is just not salt. Give us a little bit of a background on the sort of breaking down using salts in cooking.
Yeah, good point, good question. It took me a long time to kind of wrap my head around the varieties of salts that we have, but when you think about it, salts exist on all the continents and all the coasts and inland as well, all around the world. And so we're able to source salts from all over the world, which do have different qualities. They have different mineral compositions. But from a cooking perspective, I think what I find anyway is that because of the different texture, so you would, for example, I would prefer to use a flaky salt as a finishing salt when I'm cooking, because that gives you that lovely crunch and that sort of the melting sensation on your tongue, which of course the surface area of the salt will increase the experience of the flavour of the salt as well.
And the minerality of the salt as well kind of brings out and accentuates the flavour.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Yes, but depending on the sort of the earth that it comes from, the mineral compositions will vary. The French salt, the fleur de sel and the sel gris, from salt flats where the water sort of washes in and washes out, so it's quite a damp mineral salt. Even though it's dried, it's still dried in the sun, and that's very high in minerals, and of course the French consider it to be the caviar of salts.
Absolutely.
And that's got a lovely crunchy texture. We've got a beautiful Persian blue salt. That's a rock salt, so you would need to put that in a grinder, for example. Any of the coarser ones go into a grinder.
Yes.
The granulated ones you wouldn't put into a grinder, and the flaky ones you wouldn't, because that will clog up the mechanism in the grinder. I think a lot of people don't sort of realise the distinction. But then there's a wonderful black lava sea salt from Cyprus, which is really dramatic and visual, and it has a bit of an infusion of charcoal in there, but the flavour isn't as distinctive as it is visually.
Absolutely.
And it's got a nice crunchy texture. You can crumble it between your fingers, and that's wonderful on the table when you're, maybe with some watermelon or a tomato salad.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Okay, that sounds great. Is there a secret to using salt? Like, have you got like a little tidbit that you can tell the viewers about using salt that would, just use this and it's gonna give a
Take something to another level.
Yeah.
Well, I could say that about quite a few of them.
Yeah.
I mean, salt in general will definitely enhance the flavour of the wonderful produce that you combine it with. But we do, I mean, of course, the black truffle salt is a secret weapon. If you love that umami, it really does bring things to another level.
Those of you who've eaten at my house, you would have had that at some point. They would have thought I was just so good at cooking.
It's my secret weapon.
Yeah.
There's another one which is a blend, which is a French lavender salt, which I love.
Yeah.
That's my secret weapon, and that's kind of quite complex. But it's not just the lavender; it's like a herbs de Provence. It also has coriander seeds, not leaf, which are quite different.
Oh, lovely.
And fennel and aniseed, and it's great with roast potatoes and eggs and lamb and wherever rosemary would otherwise be.
Absolutely. No, that's
Yeah.
really good marriage of flavours.
Yeah.
Can I show you my favourite one? The
Yes.
Moroccan souk spice. This one is really, really beautiful. It's very versatile. Have a smell.
Oh.
I know. It does something. It does something
Ooh.
to the senses. So I think for me, what comes through is the cardamom.
Yes.
And the cumin, the coriander. There's a hint of chili. This one is amazing with, if you're a meat eater, it is beautiful with chicken or with lamb, with prunes, with apricots, things like that. But if you're vegetarian, it's also amazing with sweet root vegetables like pumpkin and sweet potato and chickpeas and things like that. So soups, tagines or casseroles.
Yeah,
tagines,
yeah. Well,
that's
from that smell, I was kind of getting lentils, chickpeas.
Yeah.
For some reason, parsnip. I can.
Oh yes.
I'd love to put that on some parsnip.
And then honey, because the sweetness is in this as well is really complemented by something like honey or pomegranate molasses. Absolutely, date
Brilliant.
molasses, that
Yeah.
kind of thing, and apricot. But the Ras El Hanout has more ingredients than any other spice mix. It includes saffron and lavender and rose petal. It's got about 23 or 24 ingredients. I should know that by now. It's known as top of the shop. So it means that every spice merchant in Morocco and Tunisia and other sort of North African countries will have their own house specialty or their own version, which will have sort of a twist on. Some of those ingredients will be similar, but not all of them.
Yeah, wow.
And it'll be a secret sort of difference probably. It's a bit more floral and it's a bit more complex and delicate at the same time. Even though
Yes.
it has a lot of ingredients, it's not like overpowering or rich. Or
No, but there's not a lot of high notes. I'm getting a lot of low notes, like real earthy tones.
So it's paprika, I think probably
Yeah.
is quite dominant. It's sort of smoky, I suppose.
And
you
this
could
is
say.
classic Moroccan style?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then of course we've got the chamula, which is beautiful with fish and seafood, and that's zesty. It's got the lemoniness to it.
Yes.
Saudi Baharat, which is also probably better known as Lebanese 7 spice. I love that with lamb. This is like the polar opposite of this one. It is rich and strong, and just think of kofta. It's really good with mince and
Yeah.
Yeah. I can.
and tomato, if you're a vegetarian, it's
Absolutely.
great with eggplant and tomatoes and
Now there's cloves in that, or
Yeah.
star anise. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
really pick it up. That
Absolutely.
sweetness is beautiful.
yeah, it's cloves. Yeah.
Wow.
well done.
I mean, we're literally doing a connoisseur tasting of spice.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sadie, you probably get this question a million times. What is your favourite spice?
Well, as I was talking about the Moroccan souk spice, but I have to kind of tear myself away from that from time to time to add variety to my cuisine. But top, sort of second or third, and sometimes first. Depends on the time of year and what you're cooking, but this one is amazing. The Venetian gondola spice. It's very, very versatile. It looks really interesting, but it's wonderfully...
Oh, wow, potatoes.
Oh, there you go. Onions, garlic.
Yeah,
peppers,
onions, garlic.
Tomato-based sauces. When you're doing, whether it's lasagna or even a minestrone, or
Yeah.
there's just so
Or
many-
even a soup. I'm thinking like a nice cream of potato or a leek soup with some of
yeah.
that stuff in there.
Yeah,
Now that's a
absolutely.
pink peppercorn.
It has onion, garlic, bell peppers. So
Bell
the
peppers.
Bell peppers probably what you were thinking is the pink
Wow.
peppercorn, parsley,
Yeah.
and pepper. But it was designed actually for marinara, spaghetti marinara.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this might seem ridiculous to an Italian cook to be adding dried ingredients that you would otherwise use fresh. But these are really high-grade dried spices that really concentrate those flavours that you're used to using fresh. And there's nothing to say that you wouldn't also add your fresh garlic
Absolutely.
and onion to this. But it does combine. It's almost like a deconstructed stock.
Yes.
cube. It enhances the flavour. It's got a depth. of
Well,
flavour.
when you think about it, this is organic MSG.
Uh,
This
perfect.
literally, it's a flavour punch of dried, good quality products that you would just sprinkle a pinch of over the top, and it just literally highlights what's already inside. I do understand that. That is amazing.
It really does. And I think for people that don't have a lot of time on their hands, that maybe haven't had the chance to go shopping first and maybe don't have any garlic or onion fresh in their cupboard, then it's easy just to take this off the shelf and add it in with some fresh seafood, white wine.
Absolutely.
If you've got put some chili as well. And you've got some prawns or whatever, you've just got a really beautiful marinara.
All right, so Sadie, you've just told me off camera something amazing that's really close to my heart. So we own a takeaway shop. It's called Little Theo's. It's in Canberra, and we go through a lot of chicken salt. But you've told me about something super beautiful.
Well, we developed our own Australian chicken salt a couple of years ago, and it is so popular. It is amazing. The difference being, of course, that there is no MSG.
Absolutely.
So have a smell and let me know what you think. It's
Yeah.
so unusual.
It's
To get the umami flavour, the developer who created this blend is our general manager of the business,
yes.
Grant Inches, and it comes from a combination of kelp and sesame seeds.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
With the salt, coconut sugar for that little bit of, you need a little bit of sweetness with it, of course, and the garlic and onion powder. Yeah, roasted white sesame seeds and ground kelp.
That's beautiful.
That's our secret weapon. Fantastic for vegans and vegetarians who want to create that kind of faux chickeny flavour
Yes.
without any animal products.
No, that's great.
Amazing.
I mean, and this is something that I guess close to my heart, and I'm really proud of. Obviously, being a chef in Australia, you want to use as much of the local flora and fauna, and using some indigenous ingredients as well. The fact that you guys have it, I think, is a testament to how and why you guys have been so successful and growing. Like, I mean, this is quite a large section, and you're telling me that it's getting bigger as time goes on.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
So this one is our Easter bun tea, which is an organic black tea with cinnamon and orange peel, which can be served with milk or without. But today we're serving it without.
Yep.
And obviously can be served perfectly with a hot cross bun.
That's actually really nice. Like, it's really light. Really fragrant, really
it is,
fruity.
yeah.
While we've finished this, why don't you get going with getting on what we need for dinner? So there we have it. What an amazing tour in the spice shop, which for me is kind of like a candy shop. So while Joe's out there doing what he needs to do and getting stuff for dinner, you need to go and do yourselves a favour. Go out and see Gewurz House spice shop anywhere you can. So here in Melbourne, in Sydney, in Canberra, they do have locations everywhere, and please come and see someone, because they all have amazingly trained staff just like Sadie, ready to answer any of your questions, but also give you a true and organic experience into what can be done in the realms of spice and tea.
Well, of course, no great dinner party is complete without some amazing wine.
We should actually get the dinner party to move here. Just put everyone along here, cheese and wine, and then we can kind of stumble out and get an Uber later.
Yeah.